The Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. John. John chapter 21 verses 20 to 25. Peter turned and saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following them, the one who had leaned against Jesus' chest during the supper and had asked, "Lord, who is the one who will betray you?" Seeing him, Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, what about him?" Jesus replied, "If I want him to remain until I come, what concern is that of yours? You follow me." So, the rumor spread among the brothers that this disciple would not die. Yet Jesus had not said to Peter that the disciple would not die, but only, "If I want him to remain until I come, what concern is that of yours?" It is this disciple who testifies to these things and has written them down. And we know that his testimony is true. There are also many other things that Jesus did. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that the whole world could not contain the books that would be written. Meditation. You follow me, stop comparing, and quietly walk with the Lord. Dear friend, have you ever paused in a quiet moment of life and felt a surge of questions well up from your heart? Lord, why does it seem like others receive more blessings than I do? Lord, why is my life so full of struggles, while others seem to live peacefully and easily? Lord, why do I try so hard, yet things don't go as I hope? While for others, everything seems to fall into place? These questions aren't new, and surely, they are not unfamiliar to Jesus. In today's Gospel, John chapter 21 verses 20 to 25, we see even Peter, the disciple Jesus appointed as the foundation of the church, ask a very human question. Lord, what about him? At that moment, Peter had just heard Jesus foretell the manner of his own death, a death that would not come easily. A path of martyrdom full of hardship, perhaps fear, anxiety, and a tinge of comparison stirred in his heart. He turned, saw John, the beloved disciple, following behind, and asked, "Lord, what about him?" Jesus did not answer Peter's question directly, nor did he reveal his plan for John. Instead, he gently reminded Peter, "If I want him to remain until I come, what concern is that of yours? You follow me." How tender, yet how stirring, these words of Jesus are. 1. The sweet trap of comparison. Dear friend, in everyday life, how easy it is to fall into the sweet trap of comparison. From childhood, we are taught to compare. Who is smarter? Who behaves better? Who gets praised more? As we grow, we continue comparing. Who has a better job? A nicer house? A happier family? More success? Even in our spiritual lives, we aren't immune from these silent comparisons. Why does that person receive this grace, and not me? Why does that one hear God's voice so clearly, while I am left in confusion? Why does that person get to serve in a visible role, while I remain hidden in the background? But let's pause for a moment. What do we forget when we keep comparing? We forget that each person has a unique journey, a loving plan designed by God for them alone. Just like a rose does not need to bloom like a chrysanthemum, and a jasmine flower does not need to shine like an orchid. There's a story that goes like this. Once, deep in the forest, A young deer complained to God, "Lord, why did you give lions such strength, birds wings to fly, and cheetahs incredible speed, but I'm just a weak little deer, always running and hiding?" God smiled and replied, "My child, I have given you agility, light feet, and sharp hearing. Every creature has its own unique gift to fulfill its role in the world. If you keep looking at the lion's strength or the bird's wings, you'll forget the special value and gift I have given you." Do you see? This story is like Jesus' message to Peter, and his message to you and me today. You, follow me. 2. When the heart is full of, what about them? Looking back over your life, how many times have you asked that question? Perhaps when you saw a friend achieve brilliant success while you struggled in vain. Perhaps when you saw others with a complete family while you remained alone. Perhaps when you saw others praised and recognized while you faded into the background. There's an old tale from Japanese culture that tells of a disciple who once asked his Zen master, "Master, why did God grant that person such sharp intellect, while I am slow and dim?" The master smiled, pointed to a wildflower by the roadside, and said, "Do you see that little flower? It's small, not as splendid as the rose, nor as fragrant as the jasmine, yet it still blooms under the sun, still delights in the breeze, still adds beauty to the world. Every person has their own beauty, their own role. If you keep looking at others, you will never blossom on your own stem." Isn't that a beautiful reminder? God doesn't want you to be a copy of someone else. He doesn't need you to be another Peter or a third John. God needs you to be you, the only you, His beloved child, with your unique life story, with a mission and vocation that no one else can replace. 3. You, follow me, a gentle but challenging call. When Jesus says, "You, follow me," it's not just a casual invitation to stroll alongside him. It's a call to a life of commitment, an invitation to embark on a path that may hold challenges and trials. Following Jesus means stepping into deeper waters, where there's no safety in comparison or worldly calculations. Following Jesus means walking the way of the cross. There may be sacrifices, losses, misunderstandings, and loneliness, but on that path, we meet Jesus in a deeply personal, intimate way. Dear friend, perhaps you've heard the famous story of Saint Therese of the Child Jesus, a young, small woman, living a hidden life in a cloistered convent, without grand accomplishments visible to the world. Yet she became a great saint through her little way, doing the most ordinary things with extraordinary love. Therese didn't preach to crowds like other saints, nor perform great miracles, nor become a renowned preacher. But she was faithful in the smallest tasks, patient in the most hidden sufferings, and loved God with a pure, simple heart. She, too, might have once asked the Lord, "What about them?" But then she chose to remain silent, to smile, and to say, "Lord, as for me, I will follow you." 4. The final testimony, an unshakable faith in God's love. At the end of today's Gospel, John writes, "There are also many other things that Jesus did. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that the whole world could not contain the books that would be written. Do you see? That closing line echoes the boundless wonder of God. Each person's life, every story, every event, every joy and sorrow, is a precious chapter that God is writing. And every person is a one-of-a-kind page in that story. You don't need to write like someone else, or have your page resemble another's. God is writing your love story, yours alone. Let Him write, let Him lead, and trust that every period, every pause, every comma in your life has a deep meaning that, in time, you will come to understand. 5. An invitation. Stop comparing, and walk peacefully with the Lord. Dear friend, today, the Lord invites you, and me, to listen once more to His gentle whisper. You, follow me. Let's stop asking, what about them? Let's stop comparing, envying, or blaming. Let's stop entangling ourselves in the web of other people's expectations and dreams. Instead, let's lift our gaze to the Lord and hear His tender yet urgent call. You, follow me. Let's walk forward, even if the path ahead is unclear, even if our hearts still tremble, even if we don't yet understand the Lord's plans. Let's walk forward, because the Lord knows us better than we know ourselves. Let's walk forward, because He walks beside us on this journey of love. Let's walk forward, because the Lord's love is enough to fill every empty space in our hearts. Dear friend, tonight, as you close your eyes after a long day, whisper to the Lord, Lord, as for me, I will follow you. And then, you'll feel your heart lighter, more at peace. Because you are not anyone else. You are uniquely you, the beloved child of God. The one He trusts, the one He has called by name to walk with Him on this journey of love. Amen.